Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WCYN's coverage of the 2022 general election. Hey, we want to tell you it's brought to you this evening by Copes Electric. That's right, it's Danny Copes bringing you from darkness to light. That's what Danny will do. He'll do it in your residence, in your industrial complex, commercial work, any kind of premises. Danny Copes is there for you. He'll give you a free estimate, folks, and the number to call is 859-588-2083. Thanks, Danny. We appreciate you helping us bring the big news to everyone tonight. That's right. The 2022 general election is very, very important on a national scale, of course. Looking forward to finding out whether or not the Congress, the United States Senate, as well as the United States House of Representatives, I think the Republicans need to flip 5 seats in the House and 1 in the Senate to gain control there. We have some very, very important elections in our state, and certainly in Harrison County and Cynthiana, very, very important election day. A lot of our major county seats are up. And I guess the polls, Trent, now have been closed for about a half an hour.
Yep, right at it.
And we don't have anything official in terms of statistics or anything, but just from visual observations by a number of people, not only in Cynthiana and Harrison County, but throughout the Commonwealth. In Louisville, I had a report, there's lines there.
Oh, okay.
So we're expecting a big turnout, and we'll see if that happens. We'll bring it all to you as soon as we get the returns from our Harrison County Clerk's office. And, you know, talk about transparency. As before I came in the station just now, the windows are open over there, and you can see the election officers actually working upstairs there, Trent. I see Mr. Aldrich and Mr. Hill.
Hard at work.
Somebody from they're hard at work and counting and tabulating the votes as we speak. I'll tell you what, Trent. Let's go through the ballot here.
Real quick, I just
wanted
to let folks know that you know, I'm going to kind of be the runner across the street, and I'm going to go check over there. We talked with Linda, and we're hoping to have some results by 7. But we wanted to get on at 6:30 because, you know, we'd already had some calls, and people were used to getting them quicker. They're just not as quick now with the paper ballots. So hopefully we'll have some results at 7 o'clock, if not maybe 7:30. So hang out with us, and we'll go over a lot of stuff. Our Canup text line is right here. If you're watching on YouTube, this is what Doug looks at when you text him.
Yes,
so
that's what I try to read.
But so you can do that. If we have to kill some time, we can kill some time together. But we do appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're listening on 1400, 1013, the free mobile app, or watching us on YouTube. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate Copes Electric and Danny and the crew for sponsoring tonight's coverage. But yes, there are a lot of things, a lot of different races that you could have voted on today if you were in the correct district and whatnot. So I'll let Doug take that over.
Well, I will apply the specs here for accuracy. Okay. First of all, on the federal level, United States Senate seat currently held by Rand Paul is up. He's being challenged by Charles Booker, the Democrat, and a lot of eyes on that race. You know, it's not thought that in this, contemplated flip, if you will, of Congress, that Kentucky will play a major role in that, because most pundits and polls feel like that Rand Paul will hold on to that seat. Yet to be seen. Mr. Booker has waged a pretty formidable campaign and is certainly strong in certain areas of the state. Same to be said for our 4th District congressional seat. Of course, Harrison County is fully in the 4th District now, and so we don't have a half and half situation like we did when part of us were in the 6th District, represented by Andy Barr. But our incumbent representative now in Congress is, of course, Thomas Massey, the Republican, and he's being challenged by Matthew Lehman, a Democrat from northern Kentucky. Mr. Lehman has waged a race against him, but once again, as in the race for Senate in Kentucky, that 4th congressional district seat, probably from people that are watching that seem to know, will be held by Thomas Massey. Again, yet to be seen. And then we have a race for state representative in the 70th representative district. We're in a new district there again in Harrison County. It also includes Mason County, where the incumbent is running. William Lee Lawrence, he's a Republican. He's in the seat already. He's being challenged by Megan Brannon of Brooksville. And, again, Democrat challenging a Republican that has held the seat before. We'll see what happens there. but we'll see who represents Harrison County in the Kentucky State House as far as the House of Representatives. Now, the following individuals, let me see, there's several here. These are county races. And first of all, we have the race for Property Valuation Administrator, formerly known as Tax Assessor. We refer to him as PVA. Our county Property Valuation Administrator is Alan Patrick Darnell, Pat Darnell. And Pat is unopposed and running for another term, and so he will be elected to continue in that job for another term. Now, this is a major race in Harrison County that everyone's watching. Alex Barnett, County Judge Executive, Democrat. I'm forgetting, what is this, Alex's fourth term, I believe.
Currently in this.
He's been in for, and that's something I should know, and I can't remember right now, but in any event,
right.
Alex has been a county judge for a number of years, been reelected more than once, and he's being challenged by the Republican, and that is Jason Marshall, and they've both been on the radio here with us, I think, during the campaign. A lot of activity out there, a lot of signs out, so we'll see who is going to be our Harrison County Judge Executive. We'll find that out tonight for another 4 years. County Attorney Bradley K. Vaughn is our Harrison County Attorney. He will continue to operate in that position, and congratulations to Bradley. He's running unopposed. He's a Republican, for those that are asking. And let's see here. We have then another race, and this is another race that's been, pretty widely popularized in Harrison County, and that is the race between our incumbent Harrison County Clerk, Linda Barnes, the Democrat. She's being challenged by Samantha Wright, the Republican, and again, yet to be seen how that turns out. Then we have another race that's going to be a lot of eyes in Harrison County watching this one, and that's the race for the sheriff of Harrison County. The current sheriff, Shane Stevens, Democrat, is being challenged by Dean Hutchison, a Republican, and once again, a very, very visible race in Harrison County. We'll have to see how that one turns out. Steve Slade is the Harrison County jailer, and he's going to continue in that job because he is unchallenged, and so he will be elected tonight for another term. Same thing for Thomas Ware, the Harrison County coroner. He's running unopposed. Both Mr. Ware and Mr. Slade are Democrats. They're running unopposed, and they will retain those positions. County surveyor is on the ballot, and no one is running for it. There is obviously a write-in situation there, and we'll see if there are any write-ins, and if so, who will be elected via write-in ballot to be our next Harrison County surveyor. Now, and you guys tell me when we need to take a commercial break.
Well, we may not be taking many commercial breaks tonight. We'll just talk. We could talk about Danny and Cope's Electric a little bit because he's our lone sponsor. But if I'm going to go across the street here in just a second, and maybe try to get some kind of gauge on where we're at. I know I doubt very seriously we're ready. But I'm going to go do that while you finish out these, and then hopefully I'll have an update.
There you go, folks. You can watch the production meeting as it happens right here. Right, Ed? Okay. All right. Continuing with the ballot, some local races, and these are, let me see, this is in the Southside, Clifton Village, and Sheriff's Office precincts. There's a race there for magistrate of the 1st Magisterial District to be sit on our fiscal court. Unopposed there is the Democrat, Stanley F. Lemons, so Stanley will return to his seat on the Harrison County Fiscal Court. Also in the 1st Mag District, Mark Merriman is running to be constable of that district. He's a Republican. He's unopposed. And so more than likely, well, unless the people that I say are unopposed, technically there can be write-in votes, as everyone knows, but generally if someone runs unopposed, they get that position. So I'm going to call those now for folks when we get on later on. If I don't mention them, it's just because those races have already been determined. Okay. Let's see. Now let's go to the City Fire Department, number 2, the library, and the river precincts. And there we have a magisterial race in the 2nd Mag District. And let's see, unopposed there is Christopher Winkle. Chris will be reelected. He's a Democrat, and he will set for another term on the Harrison County Fiscal Court, representing the folks in the 2nd Mag District. The constable's race there, likewise, unopposed. Wayne Wright has filed as a Republican to be the constable in the 2nd Mag District. He'll probably win. Okay. So congratulations to those folks. And again, thanks for your service and for your work. Okay, now let's go to the Buena Vista and East Side School precincts. There we have a contested race for the 3rd Magisterial District between Darrell Northcutt, the Republican, and Steve McCauley, the Democrat. And for constable in that MAG district, no one has filed to run. So if there's a write-in there or write-ins, we'll see who ends up being the constable from the 3rd Magisterial District. It's kind of interesting in the day, the reason we have those, as we were talking about on the coffee break show one day, there was a time when magistrates had certain judicial authorities and authorities beyond their representation on the fiscal court, and the constables were the law enforcement end of that, and you had MAG courts in some counties in Kentucky, and it's kind of a carryover from those days, but we still use our magistrates as far as being on the fiscal court. Okay, now let's go to the 4th Magisterial District. That's the County Extension Office Precinct, Leesburg and Licking Valley precincts. Running in the 4th Magisterial District, we have a contested race there between Charles Garnett, the Republican, and Keith Moore, the Democrat. And for constable in the 4th MAG District on the ballot is Christopher Wilson Cooper, a Republican. He will probably be elected to be the constable of the 4th MAG District because he's unopposed. Okay. Now, let's see. Now we'll go to the 5th MAG District, and that's the Central and North Side School precincts. On the ballot there for magistrate is Jeremy Burden, the Republican, versus Darrell Baxter, the Democrat. For constable in the 3rd MAG District, Freddie Dean Butcher will be the next constable because he's running as a Democrat unopposed. Then we go to the West Side School and Connersville precincts. That's the 6th MAG District. And we have a race for the 6th magisterial seat on the fiscal court between H.D. Batson, Republican, and Brad Yearsley, Democrat. For constable, Shane Luke is on the ballot as a Republican. He's unopposed, so he'll be the next constable of the 6th MAG District. Then let's go to the Kenman and Berry City Hall precincts. You folks are in the 7th MAG District, and we have a race there for that seat on the fiscal court between Dwayne Florence, the Republican, and Norval Francis, the Democrat. For constable, Gina Gill's running as a Democrat. She'll get that because she's unopposed. I queried the other day whether or not we ever had a woman constable in Harrison County.
Yeah, we were talking about that this
I
morning.
don't know if we ever did. So, Gina, you may be a first.
Maybe a history maker.
And let's go to the Keelat and Sunrise precincts at this time. MAG District 8 is what it is there, and Christopher Philpott is running as a Republican against Bradley T. Copes, a Democrat. Bradley formerly was on the fiscal court. He's running to return. And then for constable in the 8th MAG District, Darrell Florence is running as a Republican, and he is unopposed. Okay, that's the MAG races and the constable races. Now, I'm going to go through the the nonpartisan judicial ballot, I should say. And these are all nonpartisan races. There's no opposition in any of these races. These are folks that are in our judiciary.
Now, when's the last time that happened, you think? No opposition for a judge race for any of them.
Well, there's been some judges' races in recent years.
Does it happen pretty often?
It's happened more often here in the last 20 years than I've seen it before. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I was just curious.
Well, we had several family court races.
Also, just to let you know, it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while.
I would venture to guess closer to 7:30 than 7.
7:30. Okay. Well, we'll try to
So
make time fly.
we'll gab it up and chat it up and have a good old time. But that's.
You want to get into them before I go through the docket first? Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember the last time we had a contested race for circuit judge, and I don't recall that. Judge Delaney ran unopposed for his first 8-year term.
Well, I mean,
and he did
it's
this
neither
time.
here
Now,
nor there. But.
well, there was opposition in the family court race. I think we had 2 races for that in the last 20 years that were contested, and then Judge Custer's seat as district judge, he doesn't have opposition this time, but he did in a prior race.
Okay.
But the judge of the 18th Judicial Circuit Judge is Jay Delaney, the Honorable Jay Delaney from Pendleton County, Kentucky. And Jay is unopposed, and he will return for another 8 years as judge of the Harrison, Robertson, Nicholas, and Pendleton Circuit Courts. Same for the Honorable Heather M. Fryman. Judge Fryman will return as the Family Court Circuit Judge in the same circuit, same counties, and she's unopposed, and so congratulations to Judge Fryman. Same for Judge Custer, Charles W. Custer, known to many as Bill Custer, of course. Judge Custer will return as the district judge in the 18th Judicial Circuit, again, the same 4 counties. Now, we also had on the nonpartisan judicial ballot, there are 2 divisions in the 7th Appellate Court District, and Judge Sarah Combs is running in the 1st Division unopposed, so she'll be elected to that, and Larry E. Thompson will be elected to the 2nd Division seat on the 7th Appellate District Court of Appeals, because he too is running unopposed. Okay. Then that would be in all precincts. Now, in the following precincts, we have a seat open on the Board of Education, and that is Southside, Clifton Village, City Fire Department number 2, and the library. Now, there's nobody that timely filed to run for this, so it's going to be a write-in race. But there are 2 active campaigns.
Yeah, it was an odd thing. It wasn't any fault of either candidate. It was there was a replacement candidate, or there was a replacement on the board.
Yeah.
Late, or just a few months ago, and then so that person, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Sean Whitaker was appointed and put in that place, so his name wasn't on the ballot.
Right.
And then there was an opposition with Miss Norcross, Laura Norcross, and so she hadn't been on the ballot either. So it's an interesting race where you have 2 candidates that are both write-ins.
Both write-ins, yeah.
So you might have some folks go in and like, well, I don't have anything to vote for.
Yeah.
So it was imperative for those 2 candidates especially to get out there and let people know who they are, what they're running for, and the reason they were running.
Had to remind people to spell their name
Yeah, that
correctly.
too. Yeah.
More than once. I remember that. And so that you're right. That's interesting, where you have a race that will be totally determined by write-in votes, but that be the case. Now, in the River, Buena Vista, Northside School, and Sunrise precincts, you folks also have a race for the 2nd Educational District seat on the Harrison County Board of Education. Mary June Brunker is the incumbent, and she's running to return. She's being challenged by Derek Dye, and again, these are nonpartisan races. Now, that leaves, in Berry, we've got on the ballot is the Berry Mayor's seat, and Kenneth Abner has filed for that. He's running unopposed, so I'd say we could probably call that for Kenneth. City Commissioners of Berry, they need 4. However, only 3 filed to run. So folks in Berry, I guess there'll be a write-in to fill that 4th seat. But the individuals that filed to run are Vicky Cantu, James T. Richardson, George Keith Eisen. And then there'll be a write-in, I guess, elected to be the 4th of the 4 on the Berry City Commission. And then we have also on nonpartisan races our City of Cynthiana government. And, of course, Mayor James Smith, the Honorable James Smith, our mayor, sought to continue in that job, and he will do that because he is running unopposed. And so, Mayor Smith, congratulations. He will continue to lead Cynthiana for another term. Then also the Cynthiana City Commission. There's 4 individuals. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people running for that. Now, you can vote for up to 4 if you are a city voter, and that's all the precincts in the city of Cynthiana, of course, for the mayor's race and the city commission race. And the individuals running for that are Isaac Thomas Daly, Walter Tapp, Kayla Linville, Lorena Taylor Judy, she's an incumbent running to return, David Mellett, Glendon King, David Connor Sr. Mr. Connor, I think, was on the city commission previously. He's running to return, and Matt Miller is also running again to return as your city commissioner. Miss Judy and Mr. Matt Miller being the only 2 current incumbents running in that. Once again, city voters could vote for 1, 2, 3, or 4, or all 4, or any combination thereof. I think most people vote for 4 people in that race, but you could do whatever you wanted. And then we have the much publicized and well, a lot of politicking going on.
Yeah,
On the
before
two
you get into that,
constitutional
because we
amendments.
could
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
a lot about that. We probably should, even though everybody's already voted. I did want to mention, there's lots of different ways to listen, and I've already been getting reports that our app is very, very being heavily listened to.
Uh,
And when that happens, it can bog it down,
I
and it
see.
might kick people off. So the two options that you have are good old fashioned radio, 1400 AM or 101.3 FM, or on YouTube. They can hold quite a few. So head over to YouTube if you need to on your phone or on your computer or on your smart TV. Search for WCYN Sports, and you can watch it that way, and you'll get the results as soon as we get them. But just did want to let people know that if you're listening on the app, which is a very easy way to listen most days, when we get a lot of traffic, like on big events like this or a baseball or softball state tournament game or something like that, it can really bog it down. So just wanted to get that out there. So if somebody may always use the app, maybe give them a call or a text and tell them good old-fashioned radio or YouTube.
Well, I'll tell you that exactly, Ed. Okay, our friend Danny Copes, the electrician Danny Copes, Copes Electric, folks, 859-588-2083. Danny and the folks at Copes Electric will bring you from darkness to light. There you go.
That's right.
And hey, that's residential, industrial, commercial premises they'll work on and with. And if you want
know
an
what?
estimate, you know what that costs you? Nothing.
It's free.
Danny gives you a free estimate.
That's
There
right.
you
And
go.
you know what else? I hear a lot of times, I can't find someone to do this or can't find someone to
Can't
do that.
find an electrician.
I can't find a daggone electrician.
There's the number, folks,
There's one.
588-2083. There you go. Call now.
Well,
there you go.
I mean,
Danny might be listening to the election.
He
returns.
might
I don't know.
be listening. He might answer, but
Yeah.
he might not.
There you go.
It might be past Danny's bedtime. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've
Amendments.
got through the people. We're into the things now,
Yeah.
okay? And
those
of course,
those daggone amendments.
well, these are statewide things. The one amendment, what was it CJ said this morning? It was like Tolstoy's War and Peace, I think. And I was impressed that he had read War and Peace, frankly, CJ, if you're out there listening tonight or watching. Okay, Constitutional Amendment 1 is the long, very verbose amendment. But basically, and I'm saying basically here, folks, because, the explanations are too late now if you've already voted, of course. But basically, that is an amendment to the Constitution which sets up the separation of powers in our states, such as in the federal government, judicial, legislative, and executive. The executive branch, the governor, has the power to call the state legislature into special session. As it's set up now, the special sessions that are called can only address one thing, one item, that item for which it's called. This amendment will enable the legislature to call special sessions. And, some people see that as a power pull from the executive branch to the legislative branch. Other people see it as giving the representatives of the people more control in certain types of decisions rather than leaving it all up to the governor. And there's a whole lot more to that, but that's the simplistic aspect of one part of it. And there's a yes or a no vote on that constitutional amendment. Then we have constitutional.
748 votes, 56% of the vote to, well, it just switched on me. But they are leading right now as far as the yeses go to Amendment 1. The noes at 44%, as I said, barely underway any percentages as far as report.
And that's statewide, right?
That's statewide. And again, early, as Ed said. Constitutional Amendment 2, good night, the subject of abortion, regardless of what side of that fence you're on, has been a political item really since Roe versus Wade, which was the Supreme Court case that basically made a woman's access to an abortion a right, if you will. Roe versus Wade has been overturned, so federally it's no longer a right. What this amendment does is ask the state voters if they want to change the Constitution or amend it or include in the Constitution, I should say, add to it, a constitutional provision that there is no right to an abortion, which then leaves the legislature open to make more decisions, restrictive or not, on abortion without it being considered a right. If something is constitutionally a right, then there's only so much that a legislative body can affect it. But if it's not a right, then they're open to do more things. And so a lot of people are concerned. Of course, obviously, pro-life folks feel like that there's, you have all kinds of positions along the range of this. You have people that are absolutely against abortion for any reason, anytime, any place. There are folks that feel like that abortion is a proper medical procedure in certain cases, not as a birth control measure. I mean, not birth control, but not as a measure that way, but in certain instances, where the life of the child or the life of the woman is at stake, things like that. And then there are folks at the other end of the spectrum that says, hey, that's an absolute right. It should be something that's determined by the woman, her parents, the father, the preacher, the doctor, and all that. Government should stay out of it. I mean, there's a wide range on this.
There is. So, Doug, we talked about this morning on coffee break, you, Ed, and myself, and I thought that I knew what was going on, but it's voted. You voted. People have voted the way that they wanted to vote. That's done.
Yeah.
But try to explain the best that you can without getting too legalese on us. Try like you're talking to me, like you're talking to a dummy. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens? Either situation, the yes wins or the no wins on Amendment 2.
Well, if yes wins, then basically abortion or the access to an abortion is not seen as a right, okay? So then the state legislature is pretty much unfettered in terms of how much they want to restrict it. They could even go so far as to say, hey, and I'm not saying that they should or could or will do this, but they could, on one extreme, they should go so far as to say, no abortion for any reason, life of the mother or anything else, okay? Then,
But it doesn't automatically change it to that.
no, well, there's some legislation that's already been filed.
Okay.
The so-called
See,
trigger
I don't
laws,
know
okay?
that either.
And I've not read them, so I don't want to describe them, but there's some that they feel like may go into effect if this, but and then there's other proponents that feel like they went into effect when Roe versus Wade passed. But the thing about it is, so a yes vote on that takes it out of the category of a right. It's just like I said earlier today when you asked me about this. The legislature can't go to Frankfurt and pass a law that says a police officer can walk in your house anytime he wants to.
Because it's in the U.S. Constitution that is our right.
Well, in the state constitution that you have a right from unreasonable searches and seizures and things like that.
Because of Roe versus Wade being
Well, yeah, if they would do away with the Fourth Amendment, they could maybe make it a little bit less, or more restrictive.
But not to get into who voted why or what or when.
Well,
what happens if it's yes?
Well, if it's yes, they could go so far as to make it illegal for any reason, or they could, stop short of that. That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
If it's no, okay, then it just means that will not be included in the Constitution, okay? And so then you're going to have some legislation passed that if it's more restrictive on abortions, you're going to end up probably in
Now,
state courts on it.
Now, does
That's
it?
my opinion, yeah.
If the no votes were to win, does that still doesn't make it a right, correct?
No.
It does
No,
not because, okay.
No. The only way it could be a right again is if it's put in the Constitution as a right, or if a court somewhere deems it as such.
So what would be different, or what would anything change tomorrow if either way passes?
Not immediately, no, I wouldn't think. As a practical
That's
matter,
what I kind of wonder.
Yeah,
People may think
there's
it's
still a
going to be
process, to put it in to change the Constitution. Yeah. Okay.
No, you're good.
Side of things, hardly any precincts reporting, but statewide right now, the yeses are leading with 64% over the nos of 36% as far as the Second Amendment goes. So
Okay.
the yeses are leading, but like I said, that's hardly any precincts.
Okay.
I predict that, depending on when the results come in throughout the night, that could be up and down. And to answer your question about how immediate would any change be, that depends on about a lot of factors.
Sure.
Okay?
But
I
I'm
know
just
I'm
like,
not giving you a very good answer
well,
on
no,
that, but
I mean, I know we have a lot of people listening,
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
people may be up to date on it. I know I'm not as up to date or up knowing
Yeah.
what means what. You know, some people probably went to the polls today and voted away and thinking maybe tomorrow something could change.
Well, I would say that if the yes vote, say, for instance, on the abortion amendment, Ed,
You're
tell
okay.
the band to be quiet. On the abortion amendment, if it passes and that's put in the Constitution, I would say you'll see some pretty quick legislative action on it
Right.
because it's, why they've got it on the ballot.
Now,
And whether the effect of the so-called trigger laws that they've got passed, I don't know how they're set up to
Right.
be.
Well,
to take
I don't want to get into that, but and another thing that is, it's even said in the on the vote in the amendment is shall be construed to secure or protect the right to abortion or require
Funding.
the funding. Now,
Funding,
can you
yeah.
kind of touch on that? 'Cause
Well,
that's
yeah.
also been a point that has been made.
Emanating from Roe versus Wade when it was made a right, excuse me, I think that basis of it being a right was the foundational philosophy for some legislation where benefits would be provided for an abortion. And that would be added to the state constitution too, that no way ever would there ever be any way that, state funds or government funds could be used via insurance or anything else to fund abortion.
But if the no pass, does that automatically mean that all abortions they have to use state funds?
No, oh, no, it's not
Okay.
that at all. It's to prohibit
It's-
state funds, tax money, if
The,
you will.
the yes
from
would prohibit it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would prohibit that. and
I'm
it
just
would
trying to
give the
think of
state-
things that I've heard people talk
A
about.
yes would prohibit that, and a yes also would empower the state legislature to, if there are trigger laws already filed, it would, be basis for them, and it would empower the legislature, really. The argument on one side of this debate is that it should have never been a federal question anyway. It should have been left to the states. And, there's obviously different views on that. But Roe versus Wade did that. And so what this amendment is doing is setting Kentucky up, as to some basic constitutional guidelines, whether or not we're going to see it as a right. This amendment says, no, we never are, okay? And we're never going to have a situation where it can be funded with tax money,
Right.
for lack of a
Okay.
better way of putting it. And this is very simplistic.
Right,
way
it
I'm
is.
explaining it.
And I did want to mention if maybe somebody's just tuning in and you may be wondering, well, why are they going on and on and on about this?
Well, I've had my eyes on other law books rather than constitutional
I
law
know,
lately.
but-
Y'all hit me with that this
Well,
morning.
I
and
just
I'm
wanted to
scrambling,
I just wanted to explain
Yeah.
that we're trying to fill some time and talk about what we did vote on today.
I feel like those are two votes that most voters made their mind up about 5 years ago.
Probably so.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, will say, hey, watch fooling with the Constitution because it's the Bible. It's like changing the Bible, okay? Well, I don't mean to make an analogy, but, right, it's the law, the supreme law, okay? And whether it's state or federal, a lot of people say, watch fooling with the Constitution. On the other hand, people say, hey, if they're pro-life, they feel like that the legislature should have a hand in this, the hand, if you will.
I was saying that to say that we do not have any results in yet.
Yeah.
We're waiting on those.
Yeah.
We wanted to get on the air and on YouTube and all that good stuff just to, get it out there that we are ready to get results when they are ready, and we are ready to give them to you. We just don't have them yet. We, just like you guys, are very excited to see the results and who our next elected officials will be. But as of right now, we're just kind of in a sit and wait position. But
And if your name is on the ballot, whether you're a viewer or a listener, first of all, I'll say to you, congratulations. Nobody knows what running for something's like until you do it. And if you're on the ballot and you've done it before, double and triple congratulations to you. It's a difficult thing. But also appreciation to you because you've shown an interest either, in whatever level of government that you're running to be a part of. And we need good people in good spots. And, our candidates are all impressive people, and we appreciate all of them for running. And they're listening to tonight probably as much as anyone. There was a day when candidates could hang out at the clerk's office and find out the results early. But, yeah, well, okay. Gave me a chance to cough, Ed, there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, and again, it just depends on which precincts you're in. And, yeah, yeah.
I've been kind of watching some of the state races, and to be quite honest, across the state, they're all waiting too.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just us.
Not just us. Everyone's waiting, folks. It's not just you. But again, the people that's on the ballot, a special greeting to you from me and everyone here at WCYN. Thank you for running and your desire to serve. And thank you, Danny Copes. Copes
Yes.
Electric, yeah.
Well, hold on before we get to our sponsor.
Are we going to do the light thing?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good.
You just gave it away.
Oh,
Daggone
I'm
it.
sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no, but what you know?
I'm not used to being seen,
Not
you
too
know.
many times do you do something and the sponsor calls you and tells you that you're doing a great job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now we can do what we're going to do.
Copes has given me a compliment, or was it for you? Thank you. That's right, folks. Copes Electric, Danny Copes bringing you from darkness to light. There you go. How about that? Special effects right here.
Only for our YouTube viewers. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know, our special effects department got that all worked out, right? What'd you find out over there now? Another, what?
No, I mean, there's no. They have no
You
time.
can't get in. You just.
Well, I mean, I can go inside, but I can't go into the room where they're counting.
Well, I know that. But I mean, could you get in the courthouse?
Yeah, you know, I could, and I got a couple of friends over there, friends with the press,
Oh, yeah.
and they're gonna, instead of me having to run back and forth, they're gonna kind of shoot me a text and let me know that they're close, and when we get results, I promise you guys, we will get them to you.
So you've made,
I dare to say you will hear it first here.
so we've established a bridge with the print media to get the votes to you.
No, it's
fast.
not Lee or anybody. It's
Oh.
I got a inside.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm
We have
inside.
our sources, folks. I don't know who they are.
But
these guys do.
we have to wait just like everybody else.
Shall I finish with Copes' commercial?
Yes, you should.
He'll bring you from light to darkness, or from darkness to light, either way you want to go.
Well, I
You
mean,
just saw that. There you go. Well, you know, some people want to go from light to darkness. You
I
know,
guess that's
it's
true.
Night out there, you know, they may want to go to bed. Hey, he'll take care of it at a residence, at an industrial premise, at a commercial premise, any premise you have. If you want electric and you want it to work right and you want the components to be safe.
And I'll tell you this
that's
right
number
now.
one with electricity is safe. Danny
Yeah.
can fix you up. Again, free estimates, 859-588-2083. Yes,
and
Trent.
there's a lot of times you never know when you're going to need an electrician.
No.
I mean, stuff can happen just like that.
Yeah.
And maybe small, maybe big, or
Yeah.
somewhere in between. But it's always good to have that number. So give it to them one more time.
One more time. Are we going to do the light thing anymore?
No, we're not.
Okay, all right. 859-588-2083. That's the number to call to get the wonderful service of Copes Electric.
Yes.
Our good buddy, Danny Copes. And really thank you, Danny, for sponsoring tonight so that we can bring everyone the election returns as soon as we get them.
Yep, as soon as we get them.
What have you got there? You've got a fancy note. Is that a notebook? Is that right?
This is an iPad.
An iPad.
This
okay.
is the reason we're on YouTube.
I'm on the cusp of technology, yes.
See, you can look at it and you can see you.
Yes, that's hard to see, too.
And then,
Hard to
like,
look
so
at.
if you look at the camera, you're looking straight, but then when you look down, you can't see it.
You know what I'm going
It's
to get?
amazing.
For the next 5 days, I'm going to get comments on this hat. How many
You
people
are.
can see this anyway?
Oh, I can maybe find. I mean, anybody can.
So they can see the hat in Afghanistan.
If they want, if somebody wanted to, they could be on YouTube right now.
Yes. I see. Okay.
You may be even getting some like.
I feel
big
like
time
I'm quite
comments.
a sport in this hat, speaking of sports.
You
What-
are.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I wore a hat similar to that at the Breeders' Cup?
Just like this?
Yeah, and I got called a chimney sweep.
Chim,
So
chim,
I went back to my
Well.
good old standard, my green hat.
There you go.
I'm better in this hat.
And I always ask him what happened to the hat, and he says he bought it that way.
Yeah, it's been worn in pretty good.
Has it been worn in pretty good? Okay.
Everyone needs to be on YouTube to see Doug's hat.
Is that a text you got?
It's a comment on the
Okay.
on YouTube.
The hat is the thing, folks. There you go. Okay. All right. What else have we got here? Well, normally we would do the deal of the week at this
Yeah,
time.
well, I guess we could.
You know, any ball game scores, UK beat Howard. Yeah.
Very early percentage at like 3%. Charles Booker still leading Rand Paul 52% to 48%. As I said, that's only like 3% reporting in across the state. Amendment number 1, no's are still leading it. Once again, about 3% across the state. And amendment number 2 is the no's are leading that as well.
You know, it was said for ages that when you put anything on a ballot in Kentucky, I've heard about it in Kentucky, maybe they've said it about other places, voters tend to vote no.
Is that right?
Okay? And they say that often when they do, and I'm not saying that's the case now, but one reason that they often do is what you were talking about earlier and what CJ mentioned was the verbosity, which they legally have to.
It can overwhelm you.
Well, and, a lot of people, if they don't understand something, they vote no.
Or don't vote at all.
Right. And I'm not saying that's the case in this race on these amendments, but that was the historic thought and premise. It was always hard to get a yes on a ballot. Because, if it's a yes/no thing, people tend to vote no. Status quo.
Yeah.
So let's see how that's going to be interesting, though.
It is.
And to see how that comes out. There's so many aspects to the abortion thing. I mean, there's more to it than politics. There's moral considerations, medical considerations. Everybody sees that from a different, perspective. And I was talking about this on the coffee break show this morning. Roe versus Wade was really a decision based upon a right of privacy, which I said is gone now, as you say, at least with respect to that. And, excuse me, there was another case prior to that called Griswold versus Connecticut, and it had to do with birth control measures. And that was kind of the first time the court, well, I won't say the first time, but the court recognized the right of privacy in certain areas. And that was brought over into Roe versus Wade. And at that time, the court said, a woman has a right to privacy on this issue. But then as far as the other side of the coin, the right of the unborn, if you will, and, the unborn was not really given status at the law until recent years. For instance, lawsuits and things civilly, you could not, an unborn couldn't recover in many cases, but now that's opened up a little bit, so there's more recognition as to just what an unborn, fetus or concepted cell, whatever you want to call it, has rights. And, you get that kind of a seesaw on the thing. You bring in the religious aspects of it, and it's really an issue that has in many ways framed our politics in this nation for 50 years now, and probably will continue to do that. I don't know if, all these measures in Roe versus Wade will, solve the problem or not, but what I was getting at, what the Supreme Court tried to do in Roe versus Wade, in its wisdom or lack thereof, depending on how you look at it, is the problem is that there was not a consensus in the country as to when life begins. And you've got a range there from the moment of conception, the cell, if you will, up to the point where there's a viable fetus that you can see on a sonogram or something that looks like, a human being. And so what the court did was it had to do with viability. How close to life that everybody recognizes is it? And so they said, okay, in the first 3 months, the first trimester, we're going to recognize it as less viable, and so we're not going to restrict that too much or let legislators restrict it too much, okay? Then they looked at the second trimester and said, we're going to let them restrict it a little bit more because the fetus is more viable then, closer to life as everyone recognizes. And then in the third trimester, allowed it to be even more restrictive because that's obviously close to life as we know it when we're born and breathe and walk on the earth or crawl or whatever we do on the earth. But, who's right or wrong about that? How do you know? And so it's a moral, philosophical, religious question in many people's minds and hearts. And in addition to that, it is now a political question. And, it's difficult when you put moral issues in a political context and try to get a majority or a consensus, it's very, very difficult to do that. So anyway, it's my hope and prayer that whatever happens, it reconciles the issue for a while and takes it out of politics because, you you
Can't
used
see
to
that
hear the
happening.
one issue voter, and there were a lot of those that grew out of the abortion fight over the last 40, 50 years. And that's one issue voters on both sides. There was a lot of people that would vote, that were pro-life, that would vote on a pro-life thing, period. That's only the issue they cared about. There were people that were pro-choice that would do the same thing. And, I don't know. I think, in my opinion, for what it's worth, I don't think it's good to vote on one issue unless it's, but anyway, that's it, Trent.
Okay.
You got me teaching a law class.
I
again.
know.
You got to quit
Edu-
doing
edu-
this to me. It's what Rick used to do to me on the
I
coffee
didn't do
break show.
anything to you.
Page on you.
Turn the page, Ed.
With 4% coming in.
4%.
It just kind of
That's
killing
something.
time.
Yeah.
In the U.S. Senate race from across the state, Rand Paul has jumped back ahead, leading 52% to 48% over Charles Booker. As we said, still very early, but 4% is where that is at. You mentioned the amendments. Let's see, about 3% in as far as from across the state. Amendment number 1 is no's are still leading that, 61 to 39%. And amendment number 2, which is the one you were just discussing, the no is still leading at 60% to 40%, with 4% from across the state. So
There you go.
So, okay, across the state and 4%. So,
Yeah. Well, long
But-
way to go, but at least that's some information. But
Well-
again, nothing official, even close to being official yet. Yeah.
for them as well.
Yep.
And so not much has changed.
I tell you what, guys, I'm going to go over. I said I wasn't going to, but I'm going to go across the way and see if I can get an update over there. I will leave you two to if you think we need a break and play some spots from our regular folks, we can do that. That's perfectly fine, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's run some commercial spots from our good advertisers here on WCY,
Yeah.
and they bring you local.
But before you do, mention our main sponsor for the night.
Hey, you need an electrician? Can't find an electrician, can you? Hey, I found one for you. Here he is, Danny Copes, Copes Electric. He'll bring you from darkness to light, or the other way, if that's the case. He'll fix it so you can switch it off and on easily by any device or measure that you choose. He can do it in your residence, in your industrial complex, commercial premises, anywhere, and he'll tell you before he does it what it's going to cost, and that estimate will be free, folks. 859-588-2083. Call Danny now if you need him. That's right. Yeah. And now we're going to invite you. I'm going to leave the camera for a moment, but we will invite you to listen to these good people, their commercials, if you will. Hey, it's important to support local radio, folks, and these folks, the commercials you'll hear, do that for you each and every day with all of our WCYN programming, the high school sports, the Coffee Break Show, the Mayor's Coffee Break Extra Show, all the religious shows on Sunday. These folks that you're going to hear from now are the reason you have local radio. We will be back, however, as soon as we can, with information so that you will know who has been elected to be your representative or worker in all these different positions on the 2022 general election ballot. Is this accurate?
Yeah, that's up to date.
All right. Let's see. All right, and we welcome you back to WCYN's coverage of the 2022 general election. Once again, brought to you by Copes Electric. Danny Copes, he's the electrician, folks. He'll bring you from darkness to light, as we said earlier.
Check on something.
Residential, industrial, commercial premises he'll work on. Free estimates. 859-588-2083. Bradley will get you fully electrified in an efficient, efficacious, and safe manner. How about that, Ed? He does a great job. Good guy, too. Okay, Trent has raced back over to the courthouse to see if we have any news, folks, and as soon as we have it, you'll have it. And, Ed, what I was going to ask you earlier, now, I'm not going to ask you how you voted, Ed, but did you vote today or yesterday, or when did you vote? The man's here, by the way. Yeah, act right. Yeah. Yes, I've already declared him a winner. Yeah. You're on the video, Chris, so. Yeah. Mhm. A lot of people voted, yeah. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, I would like to introduce to you the magistrate of the 2nd Magisterial District of Harrison County. He is an incumbent sitting on the fiscal court. He will return to that position because tonight he will get reelected. He's running unopposed. And by the way, he also happens to be the owner and operator of WCYN, holding all the licensures. And in addition to that, this guy is a pretty big dog. He is the president of the Kentucky Broadcasting Association. That's all live media, TV, radio.
Are you done yet?
Get the check out. Get the money out.
I do
Okay.
have some cash, I think.
I'll stop if you pay me.
All right.
Hi,
Listen,
Chris Winkle.
do
How
you
you
have
doing?
numbers?
I have all early voting.
Okay.
Okay.
He can wait a minute.
Yeah.
I
The
just
boss is here.
I just got here. No, first off, obviously, thanks to everybody for your patience. I mean, this is a process, and when you know it or you see some of this behind the scenes, you understand why. If you voted today, you know it's a different process.
Yes.
It's a paper ballot, and what's the key to that whole thing? Like I've heard people today say, like, why did we go back in time? Why did we do that? Like I couldn't see the ballot. Why are we coloring in boxes? Those machines are not online in any way, shape, or form.
No.
They can't be tampered with. Is it old school? Yes.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it
very
work?
old school.
Does it work? Yes. Can any other country access it and change votes? No. It's somewhat foolproof in a way. But yeah, so if it felt like you were back in grade school filling in the bubbles, you really were. So kudos to Linda Barnes and her staff who just absolutely demand on taking the time to get that right.
Yeah.
So that does cause a little bit of a delay tonight, and again, thanks for your patience. Secondly, from my position on the fiscal court, I just want to take a minute to tell you that the fiscal court is made up of the county judge and 8 magistrates, and at least half of the court is changing
Yes.
with this election
Yes.
because Brad Marshall is retiring. Scott Harrington ran for county judge. He will not be in that seat again. Sam Pierce also retiring from that position. and my good buddy Al Stakelin is not returning to District 8. But those guys, you could say something positive, I think, about every fiscal court and the things that they do while they're there. A couple things for you to know, and I don't want to get on a political stump here, but it's so nonpartisan. It's unbelievable. We fix roads, we mow roads, we provide recreation and security for the county, and so that's never dependent on whether you have a D or an R beside your name. It's just not, and
Well,
it shouldn't be that way.
There's often talk that we've had that these county offices and city offices, of course, the city offices are already nonpartisan, but the county offices ought to be the same way.
Right, absolutely. I mean, same for sheriff, same for coroner. It's just anyway. That's another subject. But what I want to say, though, and I'm stealing a little bit of Trent's time here, and I know
That's
everybody's
all right. He's back with getting numbers. So
waiting on some numbers,
Yeah.
but a lot of these people do, a lot of the magistrates do more than you'll ever know.
Yeah.
And that is, Brad Marshall has chaired the road committee. Scott Harrington, the recreation committee. Sam Pierce has done a phenomenal job with the Florida Shropshire Animal Shelter and overseeing with that committee. It's just, these are good people working hard for the county. And, I honestly, I'm finishing up my first 4-year term, and I hate to see these guys go because I've gotten to know them. We've kind of formed a little bit of a bond, but I know things change. And so we'll welcome in a new group in the next couple of months. But
Same thing goes for our city commission. Jada Walker Riggs is not running again, and Roger Slade is not running again. We have 2 incumbents running again.
Right.
So there'll at least be the same change that you spoke of on the fiscal court and the city commission. So there you go. Thanks for coming in.
yeah, absolutely.
You can stay as long as you want. You own the place. It's okay.
Well, I know, but everybody's waiting. Trent has managed to secure some of the
Okay.
early voting numbers, so we'll
Alrighty.
turn it over to him.
Chris Winkle, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Chris Winkle. There you go. Okay. Trent, do you have numbers?
Yeah, I'm going to read some numbers to you, but I
Okay.
don't want to get anybody into a tizzy. These are all just early voting numbers.
Early voting.
So
numbers.
these are the no excuse voting, the excused ballots, the absentee ballots, and the mail-in ballots.
Okay.
Nothing that was voted today.
Okay.
So I'm just going to stay local to start.
Okay.
So we will start with County Judge Executive. And of the early votes, make sure I get this right, Jason Marshall, 670. Alex Barnett, 799. So again, these are all early, nothing today. Jason Marshall, 670. Alex Barnett, 799. Excuse me. County Clerk, again, all early. Samantha Wright, 481. Linda Barnes, 994. Samantha Wright, 481. Linda Barnes, 994. Again, all early. Next will be Sheriff. Dean Hutchison, 541. Shane Stevens, 921. Again, Dean Hutchison, 541. Shane Stevens, 921. And those are the countywides early voting, absentee,
go.
excuse ballots, and no excuse.
Okay. That's no votes that were cast today. huh?
Nothing that was cast
Okay.
today.
So those.
Now I do have the magistrates. If we wanted to go through those, I guess
Yeah,
we could
go
since
ahead.
we got them.
Well, get them. You've got them on your phone there. Would you
Yeah.
take a picture, or how'd you do that?
Yeah, they only have one sheet, so
I
only
understand.
one
Yeah.
copy.
Okay. But better you than me because it's awfully small on the phone.
Yeah,
folks,
so we know first magistrate, your magistrate again is Stanley Lemons, and second, our leader, Mr. Chris Winkle,
Okay.
second magistrate. Third magistrate, Daryl Northcutt, early voting, received 127. 127 for Daryl Northcutt, and Steve McCauley received 95.
Okay.
So Northcutt 127 and McCauley 95. That's in the 3rd Magistrate District. 4th Magistrate District, early voting, Charles Garnett 123 and Keith Moore 101. So Garnett 123, Moore 101. Let's see, 5th Magistrate, this is Jeremy Burden, received 131 early votes, and Daryl Baxter received 52. Again, Jeremy Burton 131, Baxter 52. Want to keep reminding folks, early voting only.
This is very, very early voting, folks. Yeah, this
This
is
is
not
about,
voting
this
for
is
today.
like 10% in.
Yeah.
We'll say.
About that,
I
yeah.
just made that up.
Yeah,
So don't go
okay.
with that. 6th District Magistrate, excuse me. H.D. Batson, 71. And Brad Yearsley, 125. H.D. Batson, 71. Brad Yearsley, 125. So that was 6th, and we'll move over to 7th here. We have Dwayne Florence, 100, even, 100 early votes. And Norval Francis received 39. So Florence, 100, Francis, 39. That's in the 7th District Magistrate race. And 8th District, we have Christopher Philpott has 85 early votes, and Bradley T. Copes received 46. So 85 for Philpott and Copes with 46. Again, those are all early voting numbers only.
And when you, again, tell them, Trent, early voting means absentee votes?
Absentee votes, excused early voting, and the 3 days last week.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and
no
Saturday.
excuse. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Those are all those votes. And there's one other, I did the school board races. It says here, Board of Education, 1st District, the 2 write-ins, 0 early votes for either.
Okay,
That's what it says.
all right,
I'm just reading what it says.
all right.
And then the 2nd District, Derek Dye, this is for school board again, 2nd District, Derek Dye, 85 votes, and Mary June Brunker, 140 votes.
All right.
So
Now,
those
as
are early numbers of opposed countywide races.
the school board race that Trent just mentioned, as we said, the 2 active campaigns that were visible, and it's totally right in that, were with Sean Whitaker and Laura Norcross. And I would say that one reason that you don't have any information on that yet is because it probably takes more time somehow.
I would think
yeah,
so,
you
too.
got to check, make sure the names are spelled and all that stuff that they got to check on the write-in. So we'll have that information for you as soon as we can. And Trent will be,
I do not have any numbers about city commission race.
no, nothing on that yet? Okay. All
So
right.
those were, and I mean, there are numbers, excuse me, about senator race, congressional race, and I will let you know about state representative
Yeah, do that
race. The early numbers for William Lawrence, it is 762. 762 for Lawrence, and Megan Brannon received 691. So those are the early numbers for the state representative race. Lawrence 62 and Brannon 762, excuse me, and 691 for Brannon.
You know, the interesting thing about that, when we were put in the 70th district, a lot of people immediately thought, well, we're going to get outvoted in Maysville. But then as we discovered, I think from some of our search engine help on the Canup text line, Maysville and Cynthiana, Harrison County may even have more people than Mason County. Of course, Mr. Lawrence is from Mason County. You
Yeah, and I
expect him to
actually-
be strong there, and Miss Brandon is from Bracken County, so you expect her to be strong there. So Harrison County may have a whole lot to do with that
I was
race.
just going to mention I had a message from my friend Travis in Mason County, the radio station up there, and it says Lawrence, 6 of their 8 districts are in, or I guess it was districts, and Lawrence is up big in Mason County,
Well,
as you would expect.
that. Yeah, you
Yes.
would expect that.
I
So,
didn't have a number. He just said
Yeah.
up big.
yeah, okay.
Let you
So
know that.
that's what we have as of now, ladies and gentlemen, and obviously we will endeavor to bring you the results as soon as we can get our hands on them, or as soon as
But at the
Trent
very
can.
least, we got you some kind
We
of
got
numbers.
you started. We've given you something to think about, something maybe to tease you. These are numbers maybe to talk about, maybe to prognosticate a little bit about. Welcome back, Chris. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, welcome back. You look like you're relatively familiar with these microphones and stuff.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Just all your life, right?
Been involved in this election process and coverage. I don't know,
Well,
a couple of times maybe.
Have you been out? I didn't know if you were in Frankfurt today or if you are out and about. But what, do you have any information? What do you see as far as voting trends today in terms of numbers of people voting? Ed said there was a lot the first 3 days, and I noticed that myself.
Right. Now, you know, and that's the thing. Like, your national news media, maybe even some state media, will do some prognosticating and trying to call races when there's only 6% of the vote in. We don't do that.
No.
We don't do that here. We're going to wait. We're going to wait for the real numbers. But I think, what I saw today at the polls was that, the turnout looked positive, looked really good. So I hope that's the case statewide.
Obviously, I was talking about you being the president of the KBA a moment ago, working with radio and TV throughout the state. For people in the industry, if you will, I mean, here at WCYN, we do the coverage. We were talking about putting a little something behind us here, Chris. And I told Trent, I don't know how I'm supposed to operate on TV without a proper set. Okay, so we
That's
need
true.
to get that changed.
We got to increase the funding for the.
But
the
I mean,
set.
for the industry, really, the live media industry, this is a big time, isn't it? I mean, do they have to get a lot of changes, a lot of new technology, or do you work with them on that?
Yeah, we do. You mean specific to election coverage?
Yeah,
or-
to election coverage. Yeah.
I think so. Here's the thing: you have to meet your listener and/or your viewer where they are, where they're consuming that information, and that for now, if you see this on YouTube, it's on this little device right here called a smartphone, and so we adapted to that a few years ago here locally, and now we're streaming some live video on YouTube, and stations across the state are faced with doing the same things. We as an association helped them through that process.
Yeah, well, and
learning the new technologies.
And the process it is, the new technologies really changed media, especially for small stations like WCYN. What were we, 500 watts? Is that what?
Well, no.
1,000 or what is it?
Yeah, it's 1,000 on the AM.
1,000 on the AM,
Right.
which is relatively strong, but it's not like 8,400 or 700.
Right,
50,000
right.
watts like you use in
Exactly.
California. But this stuff right here, the internet and IT technology,
Yeah, you can listen anywhere.
we have no limits now, do we?
Right. No, and it's the same. It's the same across the state. I want to mention for those of you who are just tuning in, we are not withholding information. We
No.
simply don't have it.
We just don't have it yet.
And I want to. I was listening on the way down, and the sponsor of tonight's coverage is Danny Copes Electric, and I don't have the script. Don't
Well-
want the script. Don't need the script. Danny's done a lot of work for me over the years, and I'll say this: Danny does it right. He does it right the first time, so he doesn't have to do it a second time. So if you do need electrical work and you want it done right the first time, he's your guy.
The only thing better than a commercial is a testimonial, and you just heard it from Chris Winkle there in support of the good work of Danny Copes and Copes Electric. Now I'll do the commercial. All right. Copes Electric, Danny Copes, bringing you from darkness to light, folks. Did you see the special effects we did earlier with this, Chris?
No.
When I said darkness, he turned the lights off.
Yeah, I'm not going
When
to
I
do
said
that.
light, he turned the light. It was cool.
That-
I'm
that
trying to bring special effects.
That
in.
requires effort, me getting up.
But Copes will bring you from darkness to light. Residential, industrial, commercial applications and premises are at his command for your desires and needs, efficacious, efficient, and hey, if you want to know how much it costs, he'll tell you up front, and he'll tell you free. The estimates are free. 859-588-2083 is the number to call to get Copes Electric. And as Chris just said, we appreciate you joining us through the radio airwaves as well as on the audio tonight, the YouTube. And we're going to bring you the results of the 2022 general election. The results that Trent read just a moment ago are very early results from the 3 days of voting that we had and the absentee voting. But we're still waiting on the results from those people that voted at the polls today, and that will tell the story. And we appreciate your patience, but hey, on nights like this, everyone has to be patient. I especially have a great appreciation for those individuals whose names are on the ballot today, because they are certainly wondering. And folks, if you're on the ballot and you're listening or watching me right now, I'm going to let you know where you stand just as soon as I can here. But it's a work in progress across the street at the courthouse. As Chris told you earlier, it's secure, it's safe, it's appropriate, and they're doing it right, so it takes time. There you go. What
No,
you got there, Chris?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention, you may have noticed if you voted today, you may have noticed there were several races unopposed
Yeah.
on your ballot, which I think
Lots.
speaks to the credibility and character of those incumbents. But one who ran opposed is actually new, and it's Thomas Ware
Yeah.
as coroner,
Mm-hmm.
a position held by his father, Tom. But congratulations to Thomas, who ran unopposed for coroner.
There you go. And he will be our coroner. And there were several, you mentioned the unopposed races on the judicial ballot.
Right.
All three of our judges in the 18th Judicial Circuit have done such a good job that they were unopposed. And of course, the thing about the judicial races is that nobody can run for them except a lawyer. And you got to have 8 years to run for circuit judge. You have to be in practice for 8 years, so that cuts it down even more. And Trent asked me earlier for the history of races for the circuit seat, and
You're not going to do that again, are you?
no.
Oh, good.
No. But it's unusual that you have a race, but we have had several in recent years for family court seat. But none of these judges, Judge Jay Delaney, Circuit Judge of the 18th Circuit, Judge Heather Fryman, Circuit Family Court Judge of the 18th Circuit, and Bill Custer, the District Court Judge, none of them have opposition, and so they'll all be reelected. And as Chris said, that's a testament to the job they've done. There
Right.
you go.
Absolutely. Is this hat is new, right?
Oh, gosh, we've already been through the hat tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Well, I could take it off and I'd look like
What
a
do they call
scarecrow.
those? What is that actually called? What style?
Is it a tam? I don't know.
See, I call it like snapbill. Is that even such
no,
a thing?
I think it doesn't snap. But
Doesn't
Well,
unsnap?
you had to get the deluxe for the snap, and it cost a lot more.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, you could unsnap it from an app on your phone if you wanted to, but it cost a whole lot, and I didn't want to do that. What now?
What's very becoming.
Well, folks, if you think this looks bad, you should see me without the hat. No. Oh, goodness. I had it on all day. I didn't have court today, so, I'm relaxed for the election returns.
To paint the visual, if you're familiar with downtown, even if you don't know where the radio station is, we're right across the street from the courthouse, the old courthouse, the white courthouse. And so the three of us are here. Trent is running back and forth across Main Street, attempting to lock down some numbers for.
Trent and I call this dancing when we have to fill the time, yeah. Yeah. And that 7th district is, the 70th is Harrison, Bracken, Mason, and Robertson. I may have failed to say Robertson earlier, but it's in that. Okay. Race in Lexington, of course, we're all familiar with Lexington, but there's a mayor's race there, and a lot of people are watching that one. You got something there, Chris? But
No, I haven't.
I thought-
Nothing. No
I'm sorry,
updates.
go ahead. Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll get them. We'll get 'em. Well, and
So
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, it's obvious, but there's some folks right now waiting anxiously,
Oh, goodness, yes. Yeah.
somewhat patiently, maybe on the numbers,
Yep.
and just throwing out a few local races. That would be county judge executive, the county clerk's race, the sheriff's race, some magistrates, also here in the city commissioner's race.
Yeah. We're going to have a new fiscal court.
We will.
And we're going to have a new city commission.
Right.
For sure. Two of you will be back on the fiscal court for sure that we know, running unopposed. And city commission, I mean, as I said earlier, Chris, people can vote for 4 of them, or they vote for 1, 2, 3, or 4,
Right.
whatever they want to do. And I think I counted 7 people on the ballot in that. and Mark Mattmiller, of course, running to return along with Lorena Judy, and it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we've got some time to kill, and we're still waiting. Trent's over
Trent's
I don't
over
know if
seeking
he's
votes.
arm wrestling, or he just
Arm
went
wrestling,
home.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure.
I think
Oh.
he's at line at one of the fast food places out here, maybe. I
He
don't
may
know.
have. He
Yeah.
may be. But just some commentary that
Yeah. Just what now? I'm sorry.
that thought escaped me.
Oh, okay. Well, it didn't escape me. The thought is, we hope that you voted today, because if you're listening and watching now and you haven't, it's too late. But
Oh, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I know what I was going to say. So,
Okay. Proceed.
so I ran for magistrate 4 years ago, thankfully unopposed, then also. And so I've had the privilege of sitting in that seat, serving this county for now almost 4 full years. And I've missed very few meetings, and so I've been there in attendance and paying attention, right? It's even after 4 years, I may know 25% of it. Like, it's there's that much.
there's a learning curve for all these things.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
There's so many things you have to learn that, you realize, well, when I ran, I was thinking about doing this, but good night, I can't do that. Or here's what I can do. And, county government is not, it's a relatively intricate thing. And, all these folks, if they're running for the first time and they get these positions, and they know this, there's a learning curve for everyone on this thing. But fiscal court, it wasn't what you thought it would be, is it? I mean, as far as the day-to-day things you deal with, or was it, Chris?
No,
I don't know.
yes and no. In some ways, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But in other ways, no.
Mm-hmm.
The amount, county employs a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a lot there, and just being the responsible fiscal body for the county's monies is a big deal.
Yeah.
And when you vote,
Yeah.
and you're the one voting, representing your district, it becomes a big deal.
Well, and the thing about it is, Mitch McConnell is my United States Senator, one of them. If I want to talk to Mitch, I may have a hard time doing that. If I want to talk to my magistrate, I can go down the street.
Right.
Okay, and
See
what
it.
I was going to ask you, well, as a magistrate, you always say, hey, look, it's tough duty. The pay is low, the responsibility is high, and the people you represent you're very accessible to them. Have you found that to be the case? I mean, do people call you a lot, your constituents, or, how much exchange do you have? Does a magistrate have with their constituents?
Well, I think so. In full disclosure,
Do they call you up and complain about the potholes and that kind of thing? Yeah,
yes.
do they? Okay,
But the magistrates in districts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 get more calls, I would think, than Stan Lemons or myself in districts 1 and 2, because our districts are city,
Yeah.
100% city.
Yeah.
And so I can default to the mayor.
Yeah,
I can just
yeah.
pass along most of the issues. But the other magistrates do field a lot more calls when it comes to roads and maintaining roads and mowing those roads.
Yeah.
And so keeping people safe.
I see another guy has just approached, who's also been elected tonight. Mayor, do you wish to come in and address the public? Chris, thanks for coming in. Good to see you, by the way. Yeah. All right. You're on TV, by the way, Mayor. Go ahead. The Honorable James Smith, Mayor of Cynthiana, and is going to be elected tonight continue to be mayor. Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is different. The last 2 times I ran, I actually had opponents, so
Yeah.
election night was a lot different then than it is tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I don't have any concern or anxiety that
Yeah.
I'll be out of a job come January 1.
Well, as Chris and I were talking about some of the other candidates that ran unopposed, it's a testament to the job you've done. I'll say it. So,
Well, thank you very much.
we appreciate what you've done, and we look forward to appreciating what you're going to do. How about that?
Well, thank you very much. And, I've got to say thank you to the city commission that I've had for 8 years.
I'm looking at some
Roger.
text here, Mayor, pardon me. Yeah.
Roger Slade and Jada Griggs, as you've mentioned several times, are not running for reelection. So we are going to have a new city commission, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Said when are, I'm got some text here I'll catch up on. Says when are local candidates sworn in or take an oath? Well, for the state officers, we take our oaths in January. When do you do it here?
We have to be sworn in before midnight on January 1st.
January 1st?
Yeah, so we'll get sworn in before then,
Okay.
but we'll have our first meeting sometime after the first of the year and choose our departments and stuff. So
Now, we have a text here, folks. I don't know who the text is from, but I have no reason to believe it's unreliable,
That
but
was
I
me.
can't give it. Oh, was that you? Okay. He's reliable. Trent. All right. We have a Robertson County final in the race for the 70th District House seat. Did you just do that already? I'll do it again. 700. I thought it was a partial what you did. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, this is the final, I guess. Lawrence, 707 votes. Brandon, 284. So Representative Lawrence has won Robertson County by about 300 or 400 votes there, it looks like. And so we're still awaiting the Harrison County results and the Mason and Bracken County results in that race. And Trent has arrived holding paper, Mayor. I'm sorry to. Have we got some results there?
I think so.
he's got numbers.
He has numbers,
yeah.
Let
okay.
me make sure these are final. But
Okay, well, let's make sure that before we turn it loose.
I don't want to say anything unless it's actually. Yeah.
Yeah. While we're doing that, let me remind folks. Okay. All righty, there you go. Who is that guy, Ed? Is he in the back? Yeah, you can hear him all the way up here. Yeah, the reason you're listening to us and watching us tonight is Copes Electric, folks. We want to thank Danny Copes and everyone at Copes Electric. Hey, they are bringing you from darkness to light. That's the motto. Residential, industrial, commercial applications, free estimates. 859-588-2083. If you have an electrical problem or a need, call Danny Copes at Copes Electric. There you go.
Given any,
The mayor and Trent, as you can see here, folks, are reviewing some
we're
numbers.
about halfway
Yeah.
there.
What now?
We're
Go ahead, get on
We're
the
about
mic.
halfway. I don't want to give any half results, but one thing that we haven't given any information on is city commissioner. And the two amendments. So I'm gonna let you guys look at that. These are not final. These are not final for Harrison County. Okay.
Okay, all righty.
Just commissioners and constitution.
Okay, is this the total, grand totals over here, right?
As of now, these are
All
not
right.
totals.
These are partial returns, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. For mayor of the city of Barry, Kenneth Abner's running unopposed. He'll get elected, but he's got 8 votes there. City commissioners in Barry, Ms. Cantu, 9 votes. Mr. Richardson, 8 votes. Mr. Ison, 9 votes. And again, there'll be a write-in, there should be, for that. And then Mayor James Smith, who's sitting to my right here, congratulations again to the mayor. He has received 665 votes, even though you're unopposed. Votes of confidence, as we call those, Mayor, right? Okay, and
Well, I
then,
got more than the one I cast for myself. So
Yeah. Okay,
that's comforting.
you folks interested, whether you're running or otherwise interested in all of us denizens of Cynthiana and Harrison County should be interested in this, and that's the race for city commissioner. Once again, these are partial returns, okay? I want to stress that, but we want to give you something here, okay? All right, and I'm just going to give you the vote totals for each candidate as they appeared on the ballot. Isaac Thomas Daly, 565 votes. Walter Tapp, 292 votes. Kayla Linville, 194 votes. Lorena Taylor Judy, 585 votes. David Mellett, 170 votes. I take that back. Lorena Taylor Judy was 584. I was one off there. Okay. Glendon King, 320 votes. David Connor Sr., 364 votes. And Mark Matt Miller, 611 votes. And so it would look like, Mayor, that the head vote getters, at least on these partial returns, would be Commissioner Matt Miller, Commissioner Judy, and Thomas Daly, I would say, yeah, that would be right. Well,
Isaac.
what did I say? Yeah, Isaac Thomas Daly.
Is it
Yeah,
Isaac
Thomas
Thomas?
is his middle name. Yeah,
Okay.
I call him by his middle name. Excuse me, Isaac Daly.
And it looks like, I mean,
Yeah, go
you've
ahead.
only got 4 columns there, so it
Yeah.
looks like that's only 4 precincts total.
Right, I would say that's correct.
And
Yeah,
I think there's about 13 precincts in the city.
yeah.
So this is really early vote totals there. That could change.
Okay.
But
I agree with that,
It's,
yeah.
it's showing a trend there, like
Yeah, indeed.
with the incumbents at kind of at the top, which kinda
Well-
what I expected.
Yeah, well, there probably was an expectation that incumbent Judy and Matt Miller would return, but we still have to see what happens with the other two that you'll be working with for the next term here, Mayor. Okay, on the constitutional amendment number 1, this had to do with the power, transfers of power, if you want to call it that, having to do with special sessions of the state legislature. That's the broad explanation. Yes votes in Harrison County, these are partial, 1,765. No votes, 2,012. On amendment number 2, having to do with the abortion amendment to the Constitution, yes votes are 1,909. No votes are 2,166. And once again, those are just partial numbers for those races for Mayor of Berry, Commissioner Berry, City Commissioner of Cynthiana, and constitutional amendments number 1 and number 2. So, Mayor, we have a start.
We do have a start.
A start indeed. Okay. And Trent has gone back across the street to the courthouse, and as soon as we get more numbers or final numbers, we will bring them to you. Ed, do you have any? Oh, go ahead, Mayor. Were you getting ready to? Oh, I thought.
No, I was just
Yeah.
looking over the numbers. Those numbers do include the mail-in excused ballots,
Right.
the 6-day excused ballots, and the 3-day no excuse voting ballots. And it looks like 4 of the city precincts. Yeah.
Well, I know a race that you're interested in, Mayor, is who you're going to be working with on the county end of things as county executive there, and we don't have any results yet at all, other than what Trent had read earlier
Right.
on the county judge executive race. And of course, the sheriff's race is a race that's on a lot of people's minds, and the county clerk's race. So we still have a lot of information and returns to give you in terms of who's going to be who for the next respective terms. Okay, you got something, Ed? You got some?
Just trying to find some of the other Robinson County numbers besides the one that we had. Just to kind of give you updates as far as what I've got with 8% in amendment number 1, the no's still leading it 55 to 45% across the state. Amendment number 2 across the state with 20% in. 55% no, 45% yes, and Rand Paul leading right now 59% over to 41% of Charles Booker with about 11% in.
All right. Well, it looks at least, and again, folks, I really, really do want to stress, these are partial returns. The mayor just gave you an idea as to where they're from, but a lot of people are interested in the constitutional amendments. It looks like on both amendments right now, on this partial return I have, the no votes are ahead on both of those right now in Harrison County. On amendment number 1, it's about a maybe 250 vote spread. I'm doing math on air, which is not a good thing. And yeah, and on amendment number 2, again, 1,909 votes yes, and 2,186 votes no. So I'll invite you to do the math where you're listening on that to get an idea as to how that is. And Mayor, what precincts was on the amendments? Did you? What precincts do we have in? Can you decipher that?
It kind of looks like 2 of the east side
Yeah.
districts here, 2 of the high school, 2 of the middle school, and 1 of the north side. So
Yeah.
none of this, if you voted at south side, west side, and some of the north side are not on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And no, we're both used to looking at numbers, Mayor. We've had a lot of discussion Ed and I were talking about the fact that along with a lot of other people, witnessed a lot of voting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And from what I can understand, from talking to people, it looks like pretty heavy voting today. Now, I know at the East Side precinct, where I would normally vote at East Side School, I saw the parking lot full, but the teachers were there today too.
Right.
But still, have you got any input or witnessed anything to give us an idea as to the voting? These numbers look pretty high. I think there's been a lot of people voting in Harrison County. What do you think?
I think they have, from what I've heard, talking to some of the people who worked the polls today, that voter turnout was higher than they expected.
Yeah.
And so that could be because of some of the races, like the county judge's race, the sheriff's race, the commission race. You know, if you want votes, you got to get people out to vote for you. And so with everybody working so hard at doing that, you know, we could be looking at a good turnout here in
Well, yeah,
Harrison
and I
County.
think the reason so is what you just mentioned, that we have so many races on the ballot. And, you know, I've heard you say it, and a lot of people say it, these local elections, like for your office and county judge executive, all the local offices, sheriff, county clerk, PVA, you know, these people, as far as the day-to-day activities of life and the human experience, you folks have maybe more effect on our lives than anyone. It's more important to vote locally if you're going to vote at all, isn't it, Mayor? I
Well,
mean, I know you'd agree with that.
You know, if you have a problem and it's a local problem, are you going to call your representative in Washington? No, you're going to call the mayor's office or the county judge's
Yeah.
office, and you know, try to get that trash moved or that pothole patched or you know, the things that.
Well, there
you
may
need
be a
to.
federal issue that you're concerned about immigration or whatever war we're fighting and all that, but if you don't have any water,
Right.
you're going to call the mayor, right?
Right.
The day-to-day, you know, aspects of our lives are very, very dependent and taken care of literally by our local, you know, office holders. And so that's why I say, you know, God bless all of you, because nobody's getting rich at any of this local stuff, to tell you the truth, Mayor. And you know, it's really admirable that folks take these jobs and do it. And many of these folks, you and everyone else, I mean, you could be doing other things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even more
That's
profitable
true.
things.
No, that's a definite truth.
Certainly less worrisome things. You know,
Right.
Serving the public is not an easy thing, and we all appreciate people do it, and especially when you got to run for it to do it. You know, locally, you know, it's a big measure, and we appreciate that.
Well, and tonight's exciting, and people cast their vote today for who they hope to win. But tomorrow, the work begins again.
Mayor, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And we hope people just, you know, if your guy didn't win, we hope you still get involved and help make the community better and support the people who did win.
All right. It looks like we have a final. And this is in the race for 70th District, the House seat between Mr. Lawrence and Ms. Brannon. These are the results from Mr. Lawrence's home county, Mason, and these are put to me as final results here. I think these are from Trent also, maybe. Oh, good deal. Oh, yeah, we got buddies in Maysville at the station there. Mr. Lawrence has done well in his home county. He received 3,713 votes. Ms. Brannon, 2,108 votes. So at least in Mason County, he's leading that race by how many, do the math on that, Ed? A considerable margin, yes. He's in the driver's seat right now, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Miss Holbrook was the incumbent over there too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go, Sheriff Gray. Okay. Yes. Yes. There you go. Okay. Thank you, Ed. And, you know, things are piping up here now, Mayor. We're starting to get more information.
Right.
And we know that's what you want. I'll tell you once again, the reason we're here and can give you these election returns is because we have a sponsor tonight, a good guy, Danny Copes. He's the electrician. Copes Electric is the name of the concern, and the motto, bringing you from darkness to light. And hey, he can do it residentially, industrially, commercially, free estimates, 859-588-2083. Thank you, Danny, for helping us bring the returns to the folks tonight. There you go. And you didn't see our special effects either, did you?
You know, I've been watching on the YouTube. That's a really nifty.
Did you like the darkness to
Thing.
light thing? Yeah.
I did like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. Oh, we're not doing it in the morning.
No.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I did notice is, you know, you're not on a mic that's going that can pick up. So
Yeah,
need
I
to-
saw you doing that, and I'm glad. Yeah. A little bit of
don't wanna
feedback.
do that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah.
Right. The camera is picking up what it sees, and that's.
I tell you, I've got a suggestion, Ed. Okay, let's give our viewers. I'm not used to saying viewers, Mayor. How you like this business being on the TV? Would you like for our shows to be on TV all the time?
Well,
Oh, really?
It would make it different because I know we should be looking at the camera
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking to the people viewing,
Yes.
but we're not. So because we're used to radio.
We're used to radio, but I'll have to get a hat for each day if we do this. Hey, folks, I tell you what, I'm going to invite Ed to run some of our commercials, and please listen. A question? Okay.
Ed has a question.
Yes.
So
For
how many
me-
election coverage years is this for you, Ed asked.
Oh, goodness. You know, I helped with a couple of them in the 80s, okay, but I wasn't on the radio then, per se. The first one I did with Rick was in 2008, first time Barack Obama was elected. And we did the show from what was then the county clerk's office at the old Harrison RECC Annex out on Oddville Pike. And Rick and I did that show, and I think I've done every one since then. That was 2008 or 9, I think. I don't think so. I think the time that I did it in the 80s, it was in the studio, I believe. I don't know, I've forgotten. But when we did it in 08, that was before I started doing Coffee Break. Rick was still doing Coffee Break, and he did the election returns, and they invited me in. They made a big joke out of it. They called me the political commentator or something like that. I don't know.
What? You know, I've read articles and stories about how it used to be probably before radio. People would gather in the courthouse
Oh, yeah,
square.
yeah.
And as the votes were counted,
Yeah.
the clerk would
You couldn't get in the county clerk's office.
out the window. They would announce the numbers, and then
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
not happening today. People are gathered at victory parties and stuff, waiting to hear the answers. But
Oh, you're talking about that's where I did it, is in the back end of the old Smithfish Funeral Home when we turned that into a county building, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we were all in there together. And, you know, one reason, and, you know, I'll echo what Chris Winkle said earlier. I don't think there's any concern about the integrity of our elections, certainly not here in Harrison County. But one reason that those things that the mayor were talking about are not the case anymore is because, you know, we just don't let everybody roll in there where they're counting the votes anymore for all kinds of reasons. And I will say, I mentioned earlier, Mayor, it was somewhat transparent because you could see them through the courthouse windows in there working, the election officers. So who was that?
it looked like it was Rick.
I just mentioned him, and he
I
shows up.
know.
I can't believe that. I just mentioned Rick Chastain, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if he'll get on the mic with us or not, but he could come in and say hello. We want to thank you again for joining us on the video as well as on the audio for the 2022 general election returns. Trent, once again, is over at the courthouse bringing us hopefully the final numbers pretty soon. The numbers we've given you so far, while we feel they're accurate, are certainly not official and certainly not final.
Not complete.
Not complete at all. But we're going to keep churning here and try to bring you the information that you want and need as soon as possible. Once again, hold on a second here. I just got a text that says we should have the official numbers soon. Ed, here's what I'd like to do, if it's okay. Let's let them hear from some of our good sponsors again, and hopefully when we come back, folks, hang with us for a few minutes here. Want to really, express to you the fact that it's very important that local radio has sponsorships, and we're going to run some commercials for some of our good sponsors here on WCYN. Please pay attention to that. Trade with them, see them, support them. Also, thanks again to Copes Electric and Danny Copes, bringing you from darkness to light, residentially, industrially, commercially. Free estimates, 859-588-2083. And we'll be right back with more results from the 2022 general election. Where'd Ricky go?
I think he's right here behind the wall.
Rick.
Now, we're still on the air.
He went in there, I think. Yeah, we're still on the camera. And I'm gonna get off the camera. You're some kind of spook. I just mentioned you, and you walk in. Is that 3 more minutes, Ed, or 4 or 5? What are you talking about? I'm gonna grab him, smoke a cigarette. I ain't smoking. A couple minutes? I ain't got that much time in it.
Well, on the TV, we can't hear anything. And all of a sudden, everybody was gone
Oh,
from the camera, so we thought something happened.
well, that's what Rick said. We just took a break.
Huh?
We just took a commercial break.
Oh, okay.
Rick said it.
Oh, it's coming good, it's just loud. The crowd noise, you can't hear.
Oh, where you at anyway?
Huh? Bank station.
Oh, well, that's what Ricky said.
Right, but we saw Ricky come in, and then we saw a blank screen like everybody went out. I thought he had a heart attack or something. I was checking
walks in, we pay attention.
I got all the stuff from middle school and Southside, and it looked like I had one easily, but Judicial says it's not all reported yet. So I don't know.
you got?
He's got it. Mayor's got it.
This is all we've got.
That's, well, I've seen that sheet.
Yeah, that's all we got so far.
Yep. I don't need to talk on the radio.
Okay, you're back with us for the exclusive coverage, we'll call it, of WCYN of the 2022 general election. Got the mayor here with me. We're waiting on Trent to return. I got a text from him a moment ago. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Let's see here. It looks like they're, yeah. We should have some official numbers soon. I'm receiving information via text from Trent on that, and he says that they're counting the write-ins for the school board race, and that's the holdup. And, you know, I mentioned a moment ago, Mayor, that when you have a write-in, a write-in ballot, it's going to take more time. They got to make sure the names are spelled right. They got to count them, and there could be more than one name. There are two active, visible campaigns for that race, and that would be Sean Whitaker and Laura Norcross. But, you know, other people could write in, I guess.
Well,
They got to count them all.
Yeah, and since the spellings have to be correct, you know, somebody could have spelled Laura L-A-R-A,
Yeah.
and somebody, you know, L-A-U-R-A, or Sean,
Yeah.
S-C-A-N, or S-H-A-W-N. So you have to kick out a lot of those.
My understanding is if it's not spelled right, it spoils the ballot.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's clear who that goes to. So,
And so we know a lot of folks are listening and watching, and as soon as we get the numbers, we'll give them to you. I understand some people down at Bianchi Station are watching us tonight. And folks, relax, enjoy Bianchi Station. You're in a
That's
nice
right.
place for election returns. And we'll get them to you just as soon as we can. A lot of races on the ballot. That's one reason for the holdup. The new voting methodology we use is another reason for the holdup. And then, of course, when you have write-in issues or races on the ballot, then that's going to take a little bit more clerksmanship by the clerks and the election officers to make sure that that's done just correctly. But Trent tells me that they're working on that now. So I'm hopeful that soon we'll have some results. Meanwhile, the mayor is going to dance an Irish jig
you know,
while we're here.
I just stopped by to see how you guys were doing. I didn't know I'd be on air.
That's what happened to me and you both. We stopped by one day, and now we each got
Now
radio
we've got
shows.
radio
Yes,
shows.
yeah, that's what we get for stopping by. But no, Mayor, I don't know. You know, it's the local races. Of course, I know you're watching those, as we all are. But you know, the main contested local races. What have I done with my specs here? Get those on. Once again, we got the county judge executive race, and of course, Alex Barnett is the incumbent, is being challenged by the Republican Jason Marshall. We had some figures in on that, and it would look like that, based on the figures we have so far, that Alex Barnett would be in a lead there. But again, the figures we've given you are unofficial and not final. Then we have the county clerk's race between Samantha Wright, Republican, and incumbent Linda S. Barnes, Democrat. We've got also locally the sheriff's race between the incumbent Sheriff Shane Stevens and Republican Dean Hutchison, challenging him there. And, you know, then we've got the race between Mr. Lawrence and Ms. Brandon for the 70th House District seat. And, a lot going on. And then, of course, those two constitutional amendments. Now, thus far, Mayor, what we've seen on those two constitutional amendments is it looks like the noes are winning on both. And I made the remark earlier, Mayor, in the old days, and maybe even through today, when you put a yes or a no on the ballot, especially if it's a constitutional amendment, the noes generally prevail. And a lot of times people say, well, they can't understand it, so they just vote no. And is that true, you think, still?
Well,
that's really the reason what they would say. Yeah.
You know, constitutional amendment number one, it was like, 2 pages worth of text.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I just don't know how many people are going to, if you haven't prepared to try to understand it before you go into the voting booth, who's going to really take the time to read it and digest it and try to understand it. So I could see why that is, the no's are leading there, because
Yeah.
you don't. Okay, so statewide, 20% in, Amendment 1, no is leading 57%, yes 43. I'm trying to repeat that for the listeners on the YouTube.
Yeah, because they
there.
can't hear it
Right.
unless you hold it up there and give us the feedback.
And on constitutional
two.
amendment 2.
Yeah.
That surprises me a little bit. So on Amendment 2, statewide, with 30% in, the noes have 59%, 41%. So Rand Paul 55 to 45% with 40% in.
Pretty much as predicted, I think, by the polls and the pundits.
Sixth district house, Andy Barr's leading 59
As
to
anticipated,
41.
once again,
Andy
by
Barr.
most people, yeah.
So Comer's winning 71%. Yeah, that's in another time zone. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
that
it
one
is.
is. So in our district, with 51% of the vote, no, 20, say that again, 20% of the vote in, Thomas Massey is leading 51 to 38, Lehman, and the third candidate has 12%.
Well, and as
So-
I said, not too much of a surprise, because I think that the polls and the pundits would have predicted victory for Rand Paul as well as Thomas Massey. And I mentioned earlier, those two races are not necessarily watched so much because people had a pretty good anticipation and thought as to what would happen. But across the nation, races for the Congress are big because they're, depending on what side you're on, you're either hoping or
Well,
hoping against a switch in Congress, because I think they need 5 seats, the Republicans, to take control of the House and 1 to take control of the Senate.
That's
you know.
right.
And so, obviously, Kentucky's not going to play a role in that because we're going to send the same people back, it appears. I don't know how the other congressional races in the state are going, but at least from the 4th District and the 6th, we'll be sending the same representatives back to the House. Yeah, you hear anything on that?
So Lexington mayor's race, Linda Gordon won 71% to 29.
That is what you might call your
That's impressive,
landslide.
yes.
Yeah, that's your old-fashioned landslide. And I tell you what, that was a contest. There was a lot of commercials in that race. Of course, we get them here because we get Lexington media. But Miss Gordon, Mayor Gordon, as well as the challenger, a lot of stuff on TV. And but it seems like that the residents of Lexington and KY are well happy with Mayor Gordon.
Right.
Mayor, there you go.
All right.
She won by almost the same margin you did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a healthier margin.
Yeah, yours is a bit healthier, but
As soon as we get them, we'll pass them along. It's not that we're letting them out slowly or trying to
No.
build up to any anticipation. We are waiting on those same results to come in, and as soon as we do get them, we'll be more than glad to pass those along. So just kind of bear with us.
there's no dramatic tease here. No commercial advantage being sought. We're waiting like you folks, okay?
Well, and it sounds like from Trent's last text, when he comes with the numbers, we'll have all the numbers,
Okay, here, let me see here.
right?
Yeah, he just, what's he telling us there, Ed? Who is that? We can have Ed. Yeah, that's because,
Probably
yeah,
on the YouTube.
yeah. Yeah, radio is not dead.
Trent is still waiting for the.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, to
Right.
give you an idea, hand me that down there again, Mayor. What was, to give you an idea as to how many ballots they may have to look at in that write-in election. In the school board race where we did have candidates, Ms. Bunker, well, we didn't have we had some
Trent
results
took
on that.
those, right.
He took, I don't know how many votes there are, but there's a number of ballots to look at is the point I'm making. Yeah, big turnout, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And,
so.
right. And what Edward's saying that the people can't hear us if you're watching YouTube is that Trent is over across the street at the courthouse. He is gathering the numbers as we speak, as they're being counted, and they'll be over here any
As
minute.
soon as we can get them.
And they're counting the write-in ballots. So
Democracy takes patience. It does indeed. We didn't create it overnight. We don't keep it going overnight. But we're not going to be overnight now, though, right?
no, and well, let's see. It's 8:30 now. Hopefully, within the next couple of minutes, we'll have
Yeah.
some
We'll
numbers.
have some election news. Okay. Let us know about who now? That Copes guy? He's an electrician, isn't he? I think he is. Have you really?
And we're
Yeah.
here. We're here because of him
Well, Danny,
in a couple of ways.
keep it plugged in, Danny. That's all I can say, buddy. Hey, it's Copes Electric bringing you the 2022 general election results here on WCYN with a host of characters. Yeah, here you go, Ed. Hey, thanks, Danny. Copes Electric, Danny Copes, the electrician, bringing you from darkness to light, residential, industrial, and commercial applications on those types of premises. Danny will give you an estimate for free. That's right, won't cost you a thing. And you can get all of that by calling 859-588-2083. And thank you, Danny, for playing a big role in democracy, helping us get the word out because this is the day where the voters have their say, right, Mayor?
That's right.
Nobody can
A
tell you how to vote.
Day of accountability if you're on the ballot.
That's right, exactly. It is a day of accountability. It is.
Right.
And so we will keep accounting as soon as we get something to count. Ed, do you want to take another break? Because once we get the results in, we're going to go with it, okay? Yeah, okay. We will go onward, folks, and leave you momentarily. Ed, once again, is going to play some good commercials from our good sponsors. We appreciate you joining us, really. And, hey, we're the only game in town as far as these results tonight. If you're sitting at home or sitting at Bianchi Station or wherever you're at, the Coke from Bianchi's is good, just as good as the coffee every morning, Ed. Yeah, thank you, Bianchi's. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. As soon as we get some information, you're going to get it on, I almost said on coffee break, Mayor, on WCYN right after this. Stick with us. You are back with us, folks. We being myself, the mayor of Cynthiana, just reelected, Mayor James Smith. Ed's on the board, and Trent is at the courthouse.
Trent just ran in the door.
Well, they say that they too serve who stand and wait, and we are serving, folks, because we're waiting. All right, Trent, hold on here. Let's help me decipher this. A new type of sheet, okay? Hold on, folks.
Finally final.
These are the finals, and these are the totals. 100% in, ladies and gentlemen.
Nobody cares about that.
Nobody cares about that one? Okay. All right, here we go. Alan Patrick Darnell, as we said before, is running unopposed. It looks like he received 4,573 votes. Okay. All right. In the race for county judge executive, ladies and gentlemen, the numbers are as follows. Jason Marshall, 3,935 votes. That's 58.69%. Alex Barnett, 2,770 votes. That's 41.31%. It looks as though we'll have a new county judge.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So congratulations to Jason Marshall, and thanks to you, Alex Barnett, for your years of service to Harrison County, sir. So Jason Marshall will be sworn as the new Harrison County Judge Executive, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Bradley Bonds reelected. Bradley, just in case you want to know, you got 5,607 votes, buddy. That ain't bad for an unopposed race. Okay. All right. Another race that everyone's waiting to see. The race for county clerk of Harrison County. Samantha Wright, the Republican challenger, received 3,217 votes. That's 47.99%. Linda S. Barnes, the Democrat incumbent, will remain the Harrison County clerk, for she received 3,486 votes, 52.01%, a relatively close race. Congratulations to Miss Linda Barnes. We look forward to her serving us again as our Harrison County clerk. And Miss Wright, congratulations to you for your campaign, interest, and desire, and we appreciate you as well. Okay. Another race that a lot of folks are looking at, folks, here in Harrison County, and that is the race for sheriff of Harrison County. Dean Hutchison, a Republican, challenged the incumbent Shane Stevens. The vote tallies are as follows. Dean Hutchison, 3,072 votes. That's 45.95%. Shane Stevens, 3,614 votes. That's 54.05%. Congratulations to Shane Stevens. He has been reelected as sheriff of Harrison County. And Dean Hutchison, congratulations to you for your candidacy and desire and your work as a deputy sheriff and law enforcement officer in Harrison County in the past. We thank both of those gentlemen. Okay, Steve Slade, of course, is our jailer. He's going to continue in that position. Steve got 100% of the votes because he ran unopposed. Congratulations, Steve. We look forward to continue working with you in the courthouse. His total was 4,567 votes. Thomas Ware, once again, he will succeed his father as coroner of Harrison County. 4,827 votes. He ran unopposed, so he wins. Stanley Lemons, Stanley will be returning as magistrate of the 1st Mag District. He was unopposed and received 488 votes. Mark Merriman, this is in the 1st Mag District. And Constable of the 1st Mag District. Yeah, that's right. Constable of the 1st Mag District, Mark Merriman will be that constable. He received 471 votes. Chris Winkle, who you just saw earlier here, congratulations to Chris, and thanks for his service. He ran unopposed. He will return to the fiscal court as the magistrate from the 2nd Mag District. He received 421 votes there. Wayne Wright will be the constable of the 2nd Mag District. Wayne ran unopposed, and he received 425 votes. Okay, now we have a race in the 3rd Magisterial District for that seat on the fiscal court. Darrell Northcutt, Republican, received 677 votes. That's 67.97%. Steve McCauley, the Democrat, received 319 votes, 32.03%. Darrell Northcutt, congratulations. You will be on the fiscal court helping to run the county. Steve McCauley, we appreciate your candidacy and you, sir. And, that's the news on that one. Then we go to
You want me to give you a break? You've been talking a lot.
Well, I can do this one here. You want me to do that? Okay.
Trying to help out.
The 4th. Oh, that's okay.
No, go ahead. No, go. You
Okay.
got it.
The 4th Magisterial District, a contested race there between the Republican Charles Garnett And the Democrat Keith Moore, Charlie Garnet will be on the fiscal court. 645 votes he received, and Mr. Moore's 387. That's a 62.5% for Mr. Garnet, 37.5% for Mr. Moore. Okay.
4th District Constable, unopposed, Christopher Wilson Cooper, received 776 votes, so he is your 4th District Constable. Now we move to the 5th Magisterial District. Jeremy Burden received 726 votes, that's 75.23%. Daryl Baxter's 239 for 24.77, so Jeremy Burden will be your magistrate in the 5th District, and Freddie Dean Butcher ran unopposed for Constable in the 5th District, 595 votes for him. Now the 6th District Magistrate, excuse me, H.D. Batson received 372 votes for 43.87%, and Brad Yearsley received 476 votes for 56.13%. Brad Yearsley will remain as the 6th magisterial or magistrate on the fiscal court. So, excuse me. Constable, we had a Shane Luke was on the ballot and received 632 votes. There was a write-in, Jeffrey Hunter, received 8 votes. So Shane Luke will be your constable for the 6th District. Next up, we have the 7th District. Dwayne Florence received 606 votes for 80.91%, and Norval Francis received 143 votes, 19.09. So Dwayne Florence is your 7th District Magistrate. Constable Gina Gill, unopposed, 401 votes, and she is your constable. Next up, 8th District Magistrate Chris Philpott, 491 votes, 62.87%, and Bradley T. Copes, 290 votes, 37.13%. So Chris Philpott is your magistrate in the 8th District, and Daryl Florence, unopposed, 624 votes for constable, and he will be your constable in the 8th District. Now, I'm going to move past the unopposed judges because we know who they are. City Commissioner. For Cynthiana, they don't have these in order, so I'm going to have to do it myself. Receiving the most votes was Mark Matt Miller, 979 votes for 18.94%. Next would be, make sure I get it right, Isaac Daly, 938 votes, 18.15%. Next, Lorena Judy, 926, 17.92. And it looks like, make sure, okay, David Connor, 609, was the 4th leading vote getter and will be the 4th City Commissioner, 11.78. Next up was Glendon King with 560, 10.84. Walter Tapp, 527, 10.2. Kayla Linville, 367, 7.1%. And David Mellett, 262, 5.07%. So again, your city commission will be made up of Mark Matt Miller, Isaac Daly, Lorena Judy, and David Connor. As for the Board of Education, in the 1st District, Laura Norcross received 247 votes. That's 55.5%. To Sean Whitaker's 198, 44.5%. So Laura Norcross will represent the 1st District on the Board of Education. And in the 2nd District on the Board of Education, Derek Dye received 556 votes, 49.69%. Mary June Brunker, 563 votes, 50.31%. A 7-vote margin.
7-vote margin. That's why it's important to vote in these local elections, folks, because some of these magisterial races and school board races can sometimes be determined by less than 10 votes.
So,
and
Mary,
so Ms. Brunker will return to the
Ms.
school
Brunker,
board.
563, Derek Dye, 556. Congratulations to both on a very, very close race. And lastly, the constitutional amendments in Harrison County were voted on like this. Amendment number 1, yes, 2,814 for 47.14%, and no, 3,156 for 52.8%, 52.86. And so constitutional amendment number 1 is voted no in Harrison County by 52.86%. And the constitutional amendment number 2, yes, received 3,119 for 48.39, and no received 3,327 for 51.61. So constitutional amendment number 2 was voted no in Harrison County, just 51.6% to 48.4%.
All righty. Real quick, for you listeners in Nicholas County or people that are interested, the mayor's race in Carlisle, we have some returns here. These are from the Carlisle Mercury newspaper, I believe, right, Ed? Yeah. And so we appreciate them sending those in to us. Thank you, Carlisle Mercury. But they had a mayor's race in Carlisle. The incumbent, hold on a second here, let me get this up. Yeah. The incumbent, Ronnie Clark, incumbent mayor of Carlisle, will return as mayor of Carlisle. He defeated Benny Buckler. Mr. Buckler was a law enforcement officer on the Carlisle PD and Sheriff's Department for a number of years. But Ronnie will be returning as the mayor of Carlisle. And I'm trying to read the city council votes for Carlisle. I'm going to get over here closer. Debbie Acton, 449. Doug Garrett, 428. Sherry Rice, up to Graph, 256. Jimmy Dale, 250. Alice Tapp Hughes, 375. Dennis Allison, 314. Rob Biddle, 195. Erica Bussell, 441. Sandy Ritchie, 361.
So that would be
Let me see, that would be on the council over there. Who's the four?
Erica Bussell,
Erica Bussell,
Doug Garrett, Debbie, is it Ecton or Eaton?
It's Acton.
It's Ecton.
Yeah.
And then it's very close for the fourth one. It looks like Alice Tapp Hughes.
Okay, there you go. And there's just some results from Nicholas County there for you. I'm trying to see, looks like Rand Paul took Nicholas County big, and Andy Barr took Nicholas County big. On the constitutional amendment in Nicholas County, 1,153 votes for no, 946 yes, so Constitutional Amendment 1 was defeated, at least in Nicholas County, and Amendment 2 also defeated, 1,354 votes to 927 yes votes in Nicholas County. So in Nicholas County, no votes prevailed on both of the constitutional amendments. I wanted to give you those real quick. And again, thanks to the Carlisle Mercury. Also, thanks to Danny Copes and Copes Electric. I'm sorry I had to get off the screen there, folks, but the numbers are small on that thing, and it's not real clear. But hey, Copes Electric, Danny Copes, he's the reason we're able to bring you coverage of the 2022 general election. Hey, Copes Electric bringing you from darkness to light, residential, industrial, commercial premises. That's where he'll work. Free estimates, folks. Totally free estimates from Danny Copes Electric. 859-588-2083 is the number to call.
Another
Yeah.
quick rundown of, I'm just not going to do numbers, just winners.
Winners, yes. Give them the winners. We got a
Rand
new
Paul-
county judge.
Yeah, Rand Paul takes Harrison County and the state. I heard it's been called. Thomas Massey takes Harrison County. I don't know if that's been called yet. William Lawrence takes Harrison County. I don't know if that's been called yet. A new county judge, Jason Marshall. Congratulations, and like you said, thanks to Alex for his service the last 12 years. Is that right? But congratulations to Jason.
I think so, yeah.
And he will be your new county judge executive. Let's see. Linda Barnes remains county clerk. Shane Stevens remains sheriff. Stan, Chris, Jeremy. No, I skipped one. Sorry.
Jeremy Burden won the mag race. He was
He
in.
did, but I skipped. No, Northcutt, sorry.
Yeah.
Bubby Northcutt is your third district magistrate. Fourth district magistrate is Charlie Garnett, and Jeremy Burden will be the fifth district magistrate. Brad Yearsley, sixth district. Dwayne Florence, seventh district, and Chris Philpott, eighth. And finally, your city commission is comprised of Mark Matt Miller, Isaac Daly, Lorena Judy, and David Connor. And the school board.
School board, yeah.
Laura Norcross will be the representative for the first district, and Mary June Brunker for the second.
There you have it, folks. You've spoken, and there are the results, and it was our pleasure and honor, really.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Doug, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thank
know
you,
I
Trent.
was over there a long time, and I was basically
Well, hey,
doing a waiting game.
We want to get it right, and our local
Yeah,
election
we could
officials
have
got it right.
we could have called some races early, but
Yeah.
I didn't. I wanted to do them all at once, and I didn't want to do it without numbers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
numbers are important, but yeah, thank you, James. Thank you. Thanks to
Chris, for stopping in.
Of course, Ed in there taking
Ed,
care of
thank you.
things. Thank you guys so much, and thanks to Copes Electric.
And that be the news, ladies and gentlemen. And hey, coffee break in the morning. Trent, who's on? You know.
Yes, school system will be on. We'll be talking about Christmas Angel program and other fantastic things about
There
school.
you go. Hear a little bit from our Harrison County Board of Education. Nobody be running for anything tomorrow on coffee break.
No,
Or
be
coffee
no
break
political
extra.
ads tomorrow.
All right, Mayor, who you got on tomorrow? Do you know?
4-H.
4-H. There you go. Feel good shows all morning in the
Yes,
morning.
sir.
There you go, folks.
Congratulations to all that ran, winners, and like you always say, for even the ones that didn't win,
Yeah,
for getting
thank
out
you.
there.
Thank
A
you.
lot of very close races, so congratulations to all.
You candidates make it work for all of us, really, and we appreciate you. Whether you won or lost, we appreciate it. Everyone here at WCYN does, and I know the community of Harrison County and Cynthiana does also. And hey, that's the news. And now, will you be putting some of these on the
Yeah,
WCYN?
I've got some. They're just photos of the sheets, but I'll put
Yeah.
them on Facebook.
If you want to see the numbers that we've been reading and the breakdowns on the cross section of the sheets, Trent is going to put them on the WCYN. Is it the Facebook?
Yes.
On the Facebook. So go to WCYN.com, hit on the Facebook sign, and you can see the results for yourself. And once again, thanks to Danny Copes, Copes Electric. Thanks to you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and hey, that's the story for General Election 2022. Thank you.